White people, government, or anybody is not responsible for this. Black people themselves are responsible.
But because you don't understand the system that we live in, because you don't understand white supremacy, you don't understand that white supremacy pushes anti-black love. It promotes swirling. It promotes black men as being deadbeat fathers and black women as being hood rats and all of these things, and tries to break black people apart. You don't think about that, do you? No. You don't think about the underlying factors and reasons.
Responsible because today is further away from the slavery, further away from the Jim Crow. There are so many black politicians, leaders, and celebrities, and special offers for minorities only. At this point, I know what you're saying. Nobita, you are not in the US. You are not even American. Whatever black people do, that's not your vision.
You're going to need some chapstick for your lips. You're going to need a tall glass of water, put 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, drink it through with straw so that it hits the back of your throat because it'll screw up your teeth, and drink that twice a day. It'll clear your skin. It'll speed up your metabolism so you lose a tiny bit of weight. Definitely get some chapstick. Carmex is great. It'll do. And fix that shit up. Because right now, you're just talking shit. So the only thing I can do is just look at you and think how much of a clown you are.
Just right? I wish I could say that. Detroit, Miami, Baltimore, New Orleans, Chicago, Dallas, New York. Can you guess what's in common? That's right. Pretty much every city that has a large number of black population has a serious issue of high violent crime rate. I know, that's mainly because they are living in fatherless families, not because they have black skin. But I noticed not
because they are living in fatherless families. So, Mr. Find Your Love in Japan, what is your solution? Because what you also fail to realize, it probably doesn't have much to do with all of these cities having no fathers, because that would be a bit of a stretch to say none of them have fathers. The reality is a lot of these cities, the governments created ghettos, projects where they shoved underprivileged black people that live in poor conditions all together. What is a project? A project is something that is being built or made, a test. Do you know why they created Bed-Stuy? They created Bed-Stuy and Marcy Housing Projects as a project. And what did they do? When they released a lot of criminals, they put all the criminals in that project. So you're now being surrounded by released criminals. What does that breed? That breeds further crime. That breeds generations that commit further crime because it's inherited and that's what they're learning. But who created these projects? Bingo, the government. Everything you think you know is not an accident. It's on purpose.
Not just in the US, London, Melbourne, Toronto, for example, the crime rate got higher because of the black people. Those countries wouldn't have got this program if they didn't take black people.
The crime rate got higher because of those black people. In London, a lot of Asian people commit a high percentage of crime. We have to point out that Asia is a continent. And Asia and Asians consist of people from India, Pakistan, China, Japan, Korea, Philippines, Vietnam, go on and go on and go on and go on. You can continue. Let's, all right.
Immigrants, unlike the US, Canada stopped showing the data and now hiding the reality. As you may already know, nowadays Japan is accepting more foreigners and immigrants, considering the labor crisis in the country. So maybe in the future, not just Asian.
You do realize this is a white Japanese guy, right? I've told you guys before that they're from migrations from Africa and the Khoisan and whatnot. If you type in black Chinese, and you probably do the same if you type in black Japanese and whatever, type in black Chinese. I will do a video about this, and you will see a group of people that are related to the Khoisan that Chinese people, the ones that you generally see, those Asians that look like him, is not Chinese. Yeah, but we're talking about China right now. They have pretty much almost exiled them to the mountains. These are black people. My belief is that the original Chinese people were black, the ones that you're seeing in pictures when you start to Google them. And somewhere along the line through hybridization, whether it be with, because Chinese actually have a large amount of Neanderthal DNA. And what you have here is the albino whitewashed Mongoloid, which is not the original Chinese. And if you look at it deeply enough, look at the images, it starts to make sense. But anyway, so what you have here is nothing but a white supremacist Japanese guy.
Countries, but also from other areas, like Western countries, more people coming into Japan. That's quite possible. But what if I told you, more black people Japan has, the violent crime rate might increase as well. Now, am I really
Who? Byron. Who's Byron?
too worried about that? Are you really sure that's gonna never happen? I'm sorry, but I have too much respect to Japan. I don't fucking care. You call me a racist or whatever. I just care about the fact.
But I mean, the crime rate in Japan is pretty high, isn't it? I mean, you're pretty much a nation of freaking pedophiles. You see, if I say that, that's called stereotyping, isn't it? That's called generalizing an entire nation, isn't it? And that wouldn't be fair, would it, to say that you're all a bunch of pedophiles, would it? No. But what I can say is there is a large pedophilic problem, an epidemic, some may say. Like, what is it, Lolita porn? You guys have bars where teenage girls go and grown old ass men decide to walk in that bar and spend time and pay to spend time with teenage girls. I've seen many documentaries talking about how Japanese men are freaking weird and pedophilic. You can type in Japanese porn. Why are y'all so obsessed with rape? Why? Why is every Japanese porn a girl being raped on a train or a bus? I mean, it looks to me that if a bunch of black folks went into Japan, and let's say they're as violent as you think they are, maybe it might affect you because they might kick the asses of all the pedophiles. Are you a pedophile, Mr. Find Your Love in Japan? Are you? Because the assumption that all these black people that are going to pay a lot of money to travel to Japan and maybe migrate to you or emigrate in Japan are going to be criminals. But you don't look at the fact that if they have the money to move and fly and set up homes in a completely another country that's halfway around the world, they're probably not criminals. But because of your stereotypes and your prejudice, you assume that all black people are violent criminals, don't you?
They have the highest testosterone, which could be one of the factors that lead you to be aggressive and violent. And they have lowest IQ.
You guys do pretty much have the lowest testosterone, though, don't you? You also have really small dicks. Like, I mean, I did make a joke once, and I said, if you ever want to feel better about your size, just watch some Chinese or Asian porn. You'll feel much better. And that's a fact. That's not even a prejudice. That's not even a stereotype. That's a fact. Now you're going to bring up average IQs by race, which was created by a Jewish man. Yeah. And it's funny how it actually states that Jews, which is not a race, but they say that Jews have the highest race created by a Jewish man and is... You see how that worked there? But go and tell us how stupid we are. You know, if you actually have a look at all of the inventions in the world, you probably wouldn't be able to live without half the stuff if you realized who invented most of the stuff you use.
Compared to other races in the US. And I just care about the fact just 6% of the population, the black males, causes disproportionately the high percentage of all the murders, rapes, robberies, just only a...
He's really, really affected by 6%. He says, I have a big problem with the fact that just 6% of the black population commit all of these crimes. What I want to say based on what he just said He, in his own words, has just said to you that all black people are not criminals. He has just told you, according to him, only 6% of the black male population commit all these crimes. Now, I'm a thinker. I like to think. That's really confusing to me. Very confusing. How can just 6% of an entire black population commit all of these crimes? If the majority of the prison population are black men, and 6% of the entire black male population are out here committing all of these crimes, what, are they committing these crimes from prison? And 6% of an entire population is very, very small. Very small indeed. So it's a very contradictory statement you made, and it makes no sense. Yeah, who is paying you?
Small tiny percentage of the population is responsible for so many crimes, even though we have just a small tiny percentage of black population in Japan right now. It's actually affecting us nowadays. By the way, blackface control.
That is not a black person. But yes, I have talked about K-pop and how racist K-pop is and how Asians love to do blackface. But go on, tell us about blackface, Mr. Japan.
Controversy is not just in Japan, South Korea, and China as well. Even if black people.
Blackface diversity. He just said blackface diversity is not just in Japan, it's also in Korea. That's not diversity. That's not diversity. That's racism. See how he just brushed that off.
People are not actually coming here. Japanese people can see what they are saying there through the media. And our media makes it look justified because they are influenced by the fake news like CNN and things like this.
I actually wondered who the hell media was. I was thinking media was some girl. Was that your girlfriend or something? You mean the media. Okay, media. I'm with you now. It's very difficult for me to address your pointless arguments when I don't know what you're saying, which is not your fault. Because I don't speak Japanese, so your English is much better than my Japanese. But let's continue.
Probably many Japanese people believe that black people are oppressed. I really don't like that because black people are actually not oppressed. How do I know that? If you watch my next video, you're gonna know exactly what I mean. Now,
we're not gonna watch your next video at all. We're not ever gonna watch your next video. You are going to prove how black people are not oppressed. How, Sway? How, Sway? How, Sway? You don't got the answer, Sway.
Let me ask you, if you see something clearly unfair and unjustified, what would you do? Nothing to say about that. I know, maybe you're actually just silent, just like most people are. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about Japanese people. Even American people say nothing about the bad behavior of black people, I'm sure.
What are you talking about, my dude? I was wondering where you were going with this. You said American people say nothing about the bad behavior of black people. Black people chastise black people. White people chastise black people. Case, point, and fact, Asian people chastise black people all the time. Black people are oppressed. One black person does something, or shall I say in your words, 6% of black men do something, and all black people do it.